Welcome to the Political Refs with Justin Criddle, Dan Snell, and Jesse Hall. Blowing the whistle on Washington, D.C. Hello once again, America. You are here tonight. If it's Sunday night, it must be the Political Refs. You're here with Justin Criddle, Jesse Hall, and myself, Dan Snell. And we are the Political Refs, where we're tying Washington, D.C. and sports officiating together to keep an eye and adjudicate what's going on in this country. So we're going to have some fun tonight. And a little bit of a twist tonight. You know, all three of us know each other best from basketball officiating. However, these two gentlemen, Jesse and Justin, also umpire baseball. And so they could be very appropriate. They may tie in some umpiring rules and signs instead of basketball. So we'll have fun with that. So let's start right off. Justin, how about you? What's our first topic for tonight?
All right. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to pick up with tariffs and what's our call on that. I'm going to go ahead and pass it right back to you, Dan, and give us your thoughts on the tariff situation that's been circulating throughout politics the last couple of weeks.
You know, what's funny is I think our last show, which has been a while, we started out with tariffs kind of early on. We talked about tariffs, and certainly it's on the front of the tongue of everyone in America because it affects everyone in America. I think from a basketball officiating, and probably there could be some baseball calls better, but I think I got to call traveling because they're going down the court, and I see a lot as they're going down the court, whether it's Donald Trump or Peter Navarro. That's a whole nother story, that guy. But anybody involved with the tariffs, it seems like they're going down the court, they kind of stop, and it might even be a double dribble because they stop. Double dribble's better. They stop and then they start dribbling again and then they stop. So that's my call. I got a violation, double dribble on the administration because they didn't think out what their play was going to be up front and plan it well enough. They just kind of forced it. They tried to drive into the lane and forced a shot, and that's what we're living with. That's my thoughts on the tariffs. I didn't start the timer, but we'll start it now.
Yeah, I should have. Clock,
yeah.
That's all right. What you got, Jesse?
Oh, my title for tonight, or do I do the same one?
The tariff. We're gonna round about tariffs. You can't get off the hook. You can't get off the hook. You got to talk tariffs, Jess.
Okay. Yeah. Man, just looking at our economy and the common sense thing says that, okay, with the tariffs, and I do have mixed emotions about them, only because we all know that if we pay higher tariffs, we're going to pay more for the given product on the end. And the question is really and truly, can the American people actually afford to pay that extra add-on? I see that being the toughest part of the tariffs program. However, we do need to do something to make sure that the rest of the world understands and knows that, you know, we have a situation going on here where we have a lot more going out than we do coming in. And it's only right, because I don't like the word fair, but it's only right for us to get our due diligence when it comes back to the fact that there needs to be some offset in that situation. And so as far as I'm concerned, I'm all for the tariffs, but I do think that it's going to be an extremely tough situation for the consumer on the end.
So any calls, any basketball or baseball call?
Do you have a double dribble as well as Dan?
I had a double dribble.
I think for me, I don't really have a basketball or baseball call on that one because I think it's just what's fair. And so as referees, some of our best calls are no calls.
Yep.
A no call, and there it is. At the buzzer with 5 seconds left. You got it.
Hey,
okay.
Dan, you should have gave him the hand applause button on that one.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. All right, Justin, you
Yeah,
started the tariffs. Let's
I
go.
I actually I actually completely agree with Jesse. And so it's kind of like sometimes you get those fans who are like, "Hey, that's a travel," and it's like, well, ugly doesn't call for a travel. I mean, it's ugly. Just because it's ugly, just because it was a slow 2 steps, just because it was an awkward dribble, just because something happened, doesn't mean that it's a travel because it doesn't look how it usually looks. So back to what Jesse said, we do need to at some point let the world know that, hey, you cannot do unto us what we are not doing unto you. You cannot be unfair to us and expect us to continuously play ball by the rules, and you're not following the rules. And so in terms of the tariffs, I did see something in regards to certain electronics remaining at a 20% tariff rather than the 145. I think that it's necessary. If you go back and you look at whether it's Democrats or Republicans, from Pelosi to Schumer to Obama, which are known to be some of Trump's most opposing forces in politics, even they admit that we have to do something in regards to the World Trade Organization, the WTO. China come in, and I think in the early 2000s, if not 2000 itself, and they haven't been playing fair. And so someone has to pull the trigger on it. It's ugly. It's never been seen before. We may think it's a double dribble. We may think it's a travel. But at the end of the day, just because it's awkward, we can't call it off and say no basket. No, we have to see if it's going to go, and there's still no call, right? We have to be patient. It's up for grabs. Some people may say that the economy's tanking. Some people may say it's doing better. But we got to see what's going, and we have to try something. We have to. We cannot continue in the direction we're going. So that's what I got.
Okay. All right. Okay. At the buzzer. So, yeah, my final thoughts on that, and I'm just teasing you guys as baseball umpires. And the reason I like basketball more than baseball is because baseball does take a long time. And we're getting a lot of pitches thrown, right? We're getting pitches thrown all over the world on this tariff stuff. And there's a lot of foul balls happening. And I mean, I think this pitcher has thrown 20 balls already, and the crowd is going, come on, throw a strike or strike him out or something. It's like the game of baseball takes a long time. And so the count's 3-2, and the guy keeps fouling off stuff. So we'll see what happens. Okay, what do we got? Let's see. Jess, what do you got for a topic?
Tonight's topic for me is Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE. Well, and I'm going to start that one off with you, Dan.
Okay.
Come right back with double play.
Well, I think what I would call in not only because using it as an example, but you know the rule when somebody scores a 3-point shot and they go psh, 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 psh. Elon has taken some shot and he's done, I think it looks like $150 billion is what we've settled. Mm-hmm. What he said was he was going to score $1 trillion, right? So that's only 15%. But who's arguing with saving $150 billion and putting the spotlight on it? So, well, I didn't put the timer on. Look at it. Yeah, I'm trying to cheat. I'll only go 30 more seconds. Anyway, so I'm going to call a technical foul because he shot up the place. It's a T because after he scored, every time he scored, whether it was I saved $2 million for rats in South America, he'd go, and I think he was kind of hot dogging it. So I like what he's doing. I'm all for America's, Ronald Reagan tried it, Bill Clinton tried it, Obama tried it. They all made success, but we had a little bit of hot dogging going on for Elon. So I'm calling the technical, but I'm still cheering him on, saying, come on, Elon, you're better than that. You're smarter. And here's my prediction. Elon Musk is from the future. He's not from these times. He's from the future, and he came back in time. And that's all I got. Look at that.
Beautiful.
All right, Brother Justin, go ahead.
No, so, I don't know if I'm ready to call a technical foul on Elon Musk. It's much like what's happening with the tariffs. It's stuff that we have not seen. It's stuff that everybody knows needs to take place at some point if we're going to address the debt, which has grown to just under $37 trillion. And if you look at the national debt clock, when it was under Biden and since it's been under Trump, it is tick, 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 tick. So neither way has it stopped just because DOGE has done what it's done. And so I think that he needs to keep on slashing. He needs to keep on cutting. He needs to keep on finding ways to reduce our spending in federal government, give jobs back to the people, stop being bureaucrats and handing every job off to the government. It's not the government's job to do work for us. It is it's the famous quote, right? Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. We have to stop creating positions of federal positions and just handing money to these people. I think there was a report that came out that people on the terrorist watch list have been receiving different tax returns, student aid, these types of things. Could be true, could not be true. People say it's not true. Some people say it's unequivocally true. So, the more you uncover like this, the better. And our number one priority is once we find the stain on the shirt is to hit it with the bleach and not get any more stains, right? That's the
Clorox, baby. Clorox the budget.
That's the whole point of DOGE, is to point out the fraud, waste, and abuse and never do it again. Simple.
Boom, at the buzzer. Some great points. You got to love that. So, you two baseball umpires, how about this for an analogy? How about with Elon, it's like a guy, the balls and the announcer's going, it's going. And the outfielder's back, and he's at the wall, but he so there's so many things that Elon's coming up with that everybody's excited because he goes to the wall, but then it gets caught. But the bottom line is it's still exciting to watch somebody almost hit a home run, saving, as you said, Justin, and Jesse, you said too, man, they're doing the right thing. We got to get going. So a lot of back, and as long as the game stays exciting with him cutting, that's good.
Yeah.
So, boy,
But it does feel like we're still waiting on that home run. It really does feel like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's hit a lot.
I'm going to give both my basketball one and my baseball. My basketball would be a delay of game after a score. Offensive team scores, they grab the ball and they hold it or stop the defensive team from being able to throw it in as a new offensive team. And so we get a quick, and we just go delay a game, first one on blue or white, and that's a warning. Everyone after that cost them a couple of free throws. But in baseball, the thing that I think that I would call on that one is an infield fly rule with my finger going straight up. And the infield fly rule is probably one of the hardest rules to try and explain. But in high school, in order for it to be an infield fly rule, it has to be a ball that's, okay, you have runners at least on first, second, and third, or just first and second. And if the ball is catchable by the infield, because it's an automatic out, the first thing we do is put our finger up and we have to say these words, if it's fair. So if the ball goes up into the air and it's within the infield, finger goes up. If they make the catch, he's out. If they miss it, he's still out. But the beauty of that rule is, like with this Department of Government Efficiency, is that you are still out as a result of the call with the finger going up, saying it's an infield fly rule, so it's an automatic out. However, you can still advance to the next base,
each
but
base
you
runner
at your own risk. And so I like that for the fact that what has happened here is that we have both that delay of game, but also we have that automatic out, whether or not we do it that way or not. So
good stuff. Justin, any baseball, anything that while we were talking about that, any baseball moment that popped up?
What you said earlier, it does. I mean, that's what this whole administration, this first 4 months feels like. You're at 3-2 and you just keep getting foul tip after foul tip after your foul tip. And you just want to know, hey, what is the outcome of all this, right? And so the tariffs feel like a tip ball. DOGE feels like a tip ball, and you're just standing there waiting on strike 3 to rip them and say, China, you're out of there. You know, illegal crossings at the border, you're done. You know, these types of things. Inflation, you're gone. But we're just not seeing the results that we truly want, and many of the American people voted for. But I do think that we're at an early stage in the first 4 years. We're at an early stage in the at-bat. There's going to be a home run at some point, and I think it's going to make all of the home crowd applaud.
Yeah, that's a great. Folks, you're listening to the political refs, Justin Criddle, Jesse Hall, and myself, Dan Snell. Justin played college basketball. He knows the game of basketball. Now he is a college basketball ref and Kleiman, and we're happy to know him up in one of the hottest up-and-coming basketball officials in America. Jesse Hall, former NBA referee, holds the record of officiating the highest scoring, longest game in NBA history, Denver versus Jesse, Salt Lake or Detroit?
Detroit. 2 Ds.
Denver.
versus
Look
Detroit.
it up. Look it up. It's he's on YouTube.
With 2 officials at that.
And me, yeah, I'm a basketball official, but I also spent 10 years as an elected official. So I always pick the hobbies where you get yelled at, being a referee or a politician. So we all bring things, and we're just having a great time. We're tying in, and we ask you to share this with your friends, like it, subscribe to it, say, hey, these guys, it's a first of its kind ever. The political refs. We're tying in sports, which most people love, and politics, which people have to deal with every day. So we're having fun. So like, subscribe, send this video to 10 people. Just take your list and send it out. So we got another topic. We're going to move on here. But if you want to write us, you can write thepoliticalrefs@gmail.com, thepoliticalrefs@gmail.com, or comment on the YouTube page. Okay. Next topic. Things happened today. The Russia-Ukraine war. There's been, peace talks underway, conversations, Putin and Zelensky, and Donald Trump, and we're trying to do something there. Justin, what do you think? What do you have to say?
Yeah, so I think I seen Trump said on the airplane, don't forget to start my shot clock because I'll go way over 2 minutes.
Good job.
I think that so Trump says basically on his interview on the airplane, at some point, and I quote, at some point it's time to put up or shut up. So I think that that's the most aggressive stance he's taken towards Putin, right? They're trying to make these talks. Zelensky has kind of come off of his, I won't say anger, but emotions, having been so close to the situation itself, right? He was very emotional in the whole interaction when he came to America and really standing his ground. Well, now he's more like, hey, let's go ahead and wrap it up, put a bow on it. People need to stop dying. Putin keeps extending the possibility of it ending because he's just making it difficult. He may be, I don't know what he's asking for. I'm not obviously in the negotiations, but it sounds like he's extending the boundary of what America is willing to compromise in regards to Russia, right? This is a strong country. This is a strong leader. This is a dictatorship. We're not willing to just give in to everything that they're asking. And so it sounds like Trump's kind of starting to get fed up with Putin. It's going to be tough to see. Obviously, you want peace. I would say it's a delay of game on Putin, right? Trump is trying to substitute war with peace. He sent peace to the table to sub in. Putin keeps pointing out, hey, wait, he's got earrings in. Hey, wait, his number's not in the scores table, right? He keeps coming up with all new stuff. Wait, his shoes, his undergarment doesn't match his jersey color, right? He keeps coming up with all this stuff to extend war when Trump is simply trying to substitute peace into the game. And I think Zelensky's ready to do that. I think the Ukrainian people are tired, and we got to have something. Once again, it's foul tip after foul tip after foul tip. Trump obviously said he would end it day one. Obviously, I don't put the blame on Trump because he wasn't in office when the war started. But he did make the promise and run on the promise that he would get this thing resolved. And I think that he feels it's a political strain on him if he doesn't make some headway with Russia soon. So you're going to see something come in the next couple months with that. And I think it may be worse than we want because we're going to have to force Russia to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Some good points there. Some fun and good points there. Jesse.
Russia, yeah, Justin. I like your point of view. Mine for the Russia and Ukraine war reminds me of a situation that says, you know what, sometimes the best thing that can happen is to have a war because it definitely affects the way our economy looks at this whole thing. And what I'm going to do is give you my one little tip.
Are you a warmonger, Jesse? Are you a warmonger?
What are you talking about, sir?
He's a warmonger. Yeah.
Let's put it this way. I believe that with our economy being what it is, and that's where I'm going with this thing, is that we need to take a good look at, okay, what's happening in our stock market. Our stock market is huge all over this world. And so I'm going to give somebody my personal tip that I believe within the next year will happen. Hopefully it'll happen before the summer. And that is, we're going to have a short squeeze. So I don't really have a call other than the fact that right now the game is going okay or well, however you want to put it. But it can get better for us as individuals if we take an interest and say, well, okay, so Jesse, you're saying that look at the stock market. Well, as some people might say, but I don't understand it. Neither do I. But I will say this. You don't necessarily have to understand it. You just have to put your money where your mouth is. And for me, I put my money on a company called AMC, and that's the movie theater, because I truly believe that we are going to have this short squeeze. And this short squeeze can make folks that might not be on the political trail or part of this game, but you can accomplish this one thing. If you just go buy 5 shares, and it may only cost you $20, $25. If you keep those 5 shares, those shares could go well over $1,500 without you blinking an eye between now and a year from now. So
Dan, he started with warmongering. Now he's soliciting.
And now he's in the movies. You know, he's at the movies.
Now he's soliciting our viewers.
Wait a minute. We better get Sharon on the line here. What's Jesse? I know he doesn't drink, too. He doesn't drink at all. So
let's just keep that straight.
He doesn't drink at all, doesn't smoke. He's a godly man. He went from starting a war to AMC. Of course, if AMC, they probably want to, they're based here in Kansas City. They probably want to love on us and maybe give us free tickets. But okay, Jess. Okay, well, that's some good thoughts, folks. So do you got? Here's my call on the. It says here that I can't use the shot clock anymore unless I pay the shot clock company. So it'll be 0. I guess we've used it too much. Here's my thought.
I got you on it, brother. I got the 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So you know how in a game, sometimes coaches will be chirp, 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 chirp. They'll be talking at you up and down the court, and you go, hey, and you explain to them, you talk to them nice, and then they start to get on you. That's what Putin's doing. He's been pushing too much. So this is the time as the referee where you go, coach, that's enough, and you go to the scores table and say, official bench warning on Putin. Putin gets a bench warning. The next one is a technical. And that's what Trump needs to do, is call the bench warning on Putin, because Putin has pushed enough. And I hope that if somebody from Russia is listening, we're all going to be hacked. The 3 of us are going to be hacked. But Putin, we're giving you a bench warning. And President Trump, come on, you're in the right direction. As you said, Justin, he said, hey, it's time. So we got that going for us as a country.
If I could just interject, I think that, I can't understand how as a nation we allow ourselves to we're almost like we're in the corner and we're fighting Mike Tyson. Like we've been backed into this corner, and I don't understand how we've allowed ourselves to get here with the trade situation with China, with the power dynamics with Russia, right? And now we're kind of like tapping the big bully at school, like, hey, buddy, you took $20 from my friend. Can I have it back? And we're like, and he's like, no. And we're like, oh, okay. It's kind of like, Trump doesn't really have much leverage to say something to Putin and really push his buttons. He doesn't have much leverage to just put on 145% tariffs and not pull it back on a 90-day pause. I don't know how we put ourselves in this position as a nation and just went the last 50 years just saying, no big deal. No big deal. We'll let them get there. And now they're like these great big bullies who have fed themselves, and they're just ginormous, big, huge boxers that will knock anybody out who tries to oppose what they want to get done.
Yeah, good point. What did Mike Tyson say? He's got a great quote that everybody's in the fight. Everybody's looking good in the fight until somebody gets punched in the nose or something like that. A great Tyson quote. Yeah. I'll look it up.
Well, he's got some other quotes that we might not mention on here, but
you gotta love him. He got in the ring at age, what is he, 60?
Yeah.
He got in the ring. You gotta love a guy that gets in the ring.
I was hoping he pulled it out. He just looked so sluggish after round 2. I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
Hey, let's touch on, we had one more topic. Let's touch on Congress and D.C. behavior.
Oh, the behavior? You mean, is there noticeable behavior coming out of Washington, D.C. in the House or Senate or the president?
Hard to believe.
Yeah.
But there is.
Let's talk about that. They deserve to be talked about. Everybody else talks about it.
Well, let's just go ahead. I'll go ahead and jump in because I brought it up, which means I have something on my mind. But okay. No, I would say unsportsmanlike conduct by the entire group of politicians inside of D.C. Because here's the thing. One, congressional members should not be able to trade stocks, period. Right? Now, the Democrats are obviously are crying insider trading after the big 2,000-point jump that the stock market took on Wednesday. Now, Trump said on Twitter, you should be buying right now. Now that doesn't sound good, but it doesn't sound secretive at the same time, right? It's not a secret. I mean,
I think he just blurted it out.
He just blurted it out. I mean, if many Democrats didn't hate him so much and they were like, oh, I'd take everything he says at face value, they'd be up a couple thousand right now, depending on what they put in the stock market. So I don't think they're saying, oh, insider trading. I don't think that there's as much proof that there's insider trading going on in that move as there has been with what's going on the last, 20, 30, 40, 50 years with people making absolute huge returns on their investments inside the stock market. So it's just unsportsmanlike. Both sides, Republicans, Democrats, independents, anybody who even has, if you're within an inch of a federal position, you should not be able to trade stocks in the stock market. You should not be able to buy, sell anything because it leaves us open for vulnerability, right? We're all human. We'd all like to make a couple $100 million in a blink of an eye. So there's absolutely no reason for that to be even a possibility. And the only people who seem to not agree with this are the people in D.C. who have the opportunity to benefit from knowing what's coming. The American people are not 50-50 on this or 80-20 on this. It's 100% of American people understand, congressmen and congresswomen probably shouldn't be able to take the information they heard at the Pentagon and then go buy stocks of some far-off company that just came out of the blue and they're going to get a $200 million grant from the federal government. Shouldn't happen.
Yeah, you're right. And that's a tough one because how do they police themselves? They'd have to pass some legislation to police themselves, and they should. But I don't know if they will. But you're dead on because Yeah, I am sure. And of course, Trump was accused. Trump is one of those, he doesn't realize, like, you ever see those sports games where they mic up a player, they mic up a ref, or they mic up a headset of football? Trump is always mic'd up. He's got to remember, he's always got a camera and a mic. And, in his Oval Office the other day, he said, "Oh, my friend here made $4 million and this guy made $800 million." They probably could make that anyway because the people he hangs out with are big financial traders. But it doesn't look good when earlier that morning, as you said, he said it's a great day to buy stocks. But he was, I think, and I'm not always a big Trump fan, but I think he's just trying to be positive in a negative time. But I always give everybody the little grace. But Jess, any thoughts on DC? Oh, I'll tell you the greatest thing, and you know me, a small town Nebraska boy, altar boy of the year, 1963, when Donald Trump says on national TV to a Republican gathering, when he says that the whole world is trying to, I can't even say the word, I'm going to have to beat myself. Everybody's kissing my beep. They're coming to me and kissing my beep to try to negotiate tariffs. That's just not right, Mr. President. Sir, you always like to be called sir. It's not right to use that word because I got grandchildren and Justin's got kids and Jesse knows lots of people and he's a church going man. He's a deacon in his church and we don't want to hear that word spread out across the television. So that behavior, that's a T.
Well, that's true, but I think I would say the Democrats need more addressing of that. For some reason, the last couple of weeks, their main call to fame has just, for whatever reason, been flying off the handle, cussing like sailors. I don't know why they think that that's the move to make, but that's the move they're making.
They're lost.
I think they're trying to appeal. They're trying to seem young and hip.
Yeah.
You can't support that kind of thing. Which I think that's where Stephen A's got some leverage. He is hip. He doesn't have to cuss and act a fool. He's very articulate.
Who's that?
Well, I think they're trying to be hip, and I think that's where Stephen A's got some leverage. He is hip. He is cool. He doesn't have to cuss and act in a certain way. He's very articulate, very intellectual, and he just comes off as genuine, right?
Stay tuned, folks.
They're trying to sound genuine. J.D. Vance, he's always saying BS, or, hell, or he's saying some minute cuss word that's not really, oh, wow, I can't believe he said that, and I think that they're kind of getting it from that.
It's millennial speak. Okay, Jess.
Yeah, I find it kind of interesting. Now we're on the stock market piece because, the stock market piece to me has pieces tied up to where our government officials or elected officials, they are to police like the, I guess it's called the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission and those kind of things. But at the same time, we all know that every once in a while, probably more than not, they do get those tips. And of course, they go from rags to riches. Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I wanted to be kind of funny early on when I said, go and buy some AMC stock, because I just believe that it's going to go into what's called a short squeeze, because the hedge funds have really outdone themselves in this particular situation. And if the political officials, both the Democrats and the Republicans and the independents, all get together and enforce the rules that are already there. So what I'm going to say is that, we don't have enough players on the court, but we've got we've got a team sitting off to the side, knowing that all they have to do is step forth and enforce the rules or the laws that are there for them to make sure happen. And so it makes it and like I said, I don't like the word fair, but try and make sure that we are governed in situations that are not ungoverned at this time, so that it becomes a even playing field. One team should not have to play a baseball game using baseballs and the other team plays using softballs. Or one team play basketball using a volleyball and the other team uses a basketball. Yes, I'm very well aware that in women's basketball at the high school level, the girls' ball is smaller than the guys. But the guys don't get to play with the girls' ball come game time, because we have a specific ball that is that has been approved by the governing group, So we know that if we get this smaller ball, we have to toss it out and then bring in the regular size ball. And I think that's where we are now with this situation with these government officials getting these hot tips and actually taking advantage of a system and taking people's money. So that's just kind of my take, and that's why I was laughing or smiling the whole time.
Yeah, that's good stuff. No, it's all good. Well, folks, I hope you're having fun and enjoying this and going, hey, this is something unique. The political refs, Justin Criddle, Jesse Hall, and Dan Snell. And be sure and like, subscribe, and follow us and share this with folks. Every show, we also at the end, and we're coming to the end, we hand out, and Justin Criddle has already mentioned the name who I'm going to nominate, and I think it's going to be rare, but I'll bet you we're going to be unanimous. We hand out the MVP, the most valuable person or player in the world of politics, and this person happens to be in the world of sports big time, and he also is dipping his toe and being engaged, which all Americans should do, is pay attention to what's going on in our country and speak up to it. And we are going to name MVP, and I hope you guys agree, Stephen A. Smith, the ESPN sportscaster, who is getting engaged. So, Jesse, what do you think? Your thumbs up?
I have 2 thumbs up. 100 for
Justin?
me.
That's a beautiful short response, Jesse. I think my response is going to be a little bit longer. No, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna refute that at all. I like Stephen A. I think he's a great representative for what young black men could strive for in America: to be articulate, to be hardworking, to be, just totally engaged in their goals, their vision. I mean, where he started and where he's at today. I bet if someone told him at an 8-year-old age, hey, this is what your life's going to look like, he wouldn't believe it. But at the same time, my most valuable player could always be Trump. I don't think anyone provides more value than Trump. He provides value to the news stations. That's all they talk about. He provides value to the political landscape. I could always go with that. I'll never come up with a different one. But that's why I leave it up to you guys to name the MVP, because that's fair. And he does deserve the MVP. And I do wish the best for Stephen A. I think he's coming from a lane like Trump, where most people say, Stephen A., he's not involved with politics. He'll never win president. And I say, my response to that is, don't leave the door open.
Yeah, stay tuned. I say, stay tuned.
Don't let him get on stage and get to running that mouth and showing how articulate he is and putting people in a headlock, a verbal headlock, because he's known for doing that. And the Democratic Party is in such shambles right now that I think if he just got up there and is his genuine self and has the backing of 20, 30% of the American people, and he gets that one opportunity, he could quickly take that 20, 30% and turn it into 40 or 50%, and then you got yourself a real candidate. So I pray and hope the best for that brother, because he's never made a fool of himself. He's never tried to be anything than what he is. And at this point in his life, he deserves to be taken legitimately.
Yeah, you nailed it. He is articulate, and he brings up things that get people thinking, and that's what we need more, is people to be thinking in America. So, Stephen A. Smith, you are the political refs MVP for this day.
Wait a second, Jesse's got more than thumbs up now.
Oh, okay.
No. I just did the thumbs up to start it with, and I ended with it, but I'm going to piggyback just a little bit here.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe that, Stephen A., unlike Stephen Colbert, and I'll just go Stephen and Stephen, but on the one hand, you have a guy that, seriously, in my opinion, I think Stephen A. Smith could win the Democratic nomination, and probably, because Jesse got up to 50%, well, if he can get 50%, all we need is we need to go find 1 more percent. And regardless as to what happens out there mathematically, he would win that election. And so I'm just sitting there going, man, Justin is he started at, I don't know, it was 30 or whatever, and he got up to 50, and I'm going, well, man, all we need to do is find 1 more %. Or you know,
well, I think that I started 20 or 30, and I bump it up so quickly because we are not a democracy. This government is truly ran by multiple facets and multiple positions, and if he's the people's choice, I think that he can surround himself with cabinet members who will say, you know what, I probably want your position, but we know more than you and what needs to be done. You be our voice, our face that's acceptable and presentable and adored by the American people, and we'll do the dirty work for you because we have the same cause. So that's why
I think he would listen to people. That's Trump's flaws. Trump doesn't really listen, or he listens to people that praise him.
Yeah.
Like Peter Navarro. Well, it's a whole nother subject.
No.
I think Trump listens fine. I think he asks a lot of people for their opinion, but he does want to do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And if you don't agree, you are subjugated to.
And I'm going to be in trouble. I'm probably going to be investigated by the DOJ for some of that. But anyway, folks, you've been listening to the Political Refs, Justin Criddle, Jesse Hall, Dan Snell, and you've heard of whistleblowers, but have you heard of referees or umpires and my colleagues? Also their time, but we're blowing the whistle on Washington, D.C. and behavior and unsportsmanlike conduct. You heard it here. You got to like, subscribe, share this with at least 10 people. Just get on your email. Just copy the YouTube. Go to your email. Just put some names in, send it. Check these guys out. We're going to have some special guests. 1 or 2 might be our MVPs of the past. So go back and watch some of our former ones. We've had some great MVPs. We thank you for being with us and watching. And we will say until next time, play by the rules, be a good American, and cheer referees whenever you see them, or umpires. Bye-bye for now.